Assalamualaikum, my name is Ahmad Frrdaus and I will talk about the effect of the environment condition on the strength of fishing net. Abstract. The environmental condition plays a significant role to the strength of the fishing net as it could lead the net to break during fishing. The strength of fishing nets is critical for fishing activities since a lack of net strength can result in fish escape, ghost fishing, and economic losses. The main objective of the study is to determine the strength properties of fishing nets in different environmental conditions. The strength of the fishing nets were measured from tensile tests. For sample A, it will be put into light fastness machine. Sample B will be soaked in a container of seawater, and sample C will be in both conditions, which is the sample will be soaked in a container of seawater before taken out to put into light fastness machine. Tensile test machine will be used to get the raw data for the specimen. Sorry. Based on the result obtained, different environmental conditions have different degradation, and the elongation of the nets will drop as the time spent in each environmental condition increase. Exposing the fishing net under environmental condition takes a toll to its tensile properties. It is concluded that the environmental conditions do affect fishing net tensile properties and breaking strength. Introduction. Fishing has gone simpler and faster than conventional ways due to the steady advancement of technology around us. The classic hook and line approach is incredibly time consuming because to the low catch volume, while the usage of local fishing nets with uncontrollable match may endanger tiny immature fish. It will have a detrimental influence on marine ecosystem. It it is vitality sorry it is vitally suggested that fishermen follow the restriction in order to keep the marine ecosystem from going extinct. Glacial topography, which is continually radiant from the sun, may ruin the nets and affect their ability to operate correctly. The materials were often subjected to a wide range of climatic conditions where they dissolve due to the moisture. When the nets are used for fishing, they deteriorate due to the weather. The rates of deterioration vary depending on the environment, with high humidity hastening the process and UV radiation causing material breakdown and degradation to molecular mass. Literature 1. Factors affecting fishing net design. There are many factors affecting the fishing net design that are biology, behavior, and distribution factors. This is because the body size and shape of the fishes determine the mesh required to enmesh and hold the fishes in nets. This is because body size of the fishes related to the tensile strength requirement for the netting. Literature 2. The effects of environmental condition towards the strength of netting yarns. Weathering alters and breaks down the molecular structure of polymers in fishing nets, resulting in a loss of strength, extensibility, overall durability, and appearance. Where the fishing net tend to degenerate over time as the environmental condition is uncertain, the fishing net can degenerate a lot faster because of environmental conditions such as from moist state to sudden drying where it could affect the strength of the net. In general, the rate of deterioration can be assessed by calculating the loss of breaking strength. Literature 3. Tensile test. It is reported that the percentage residual tensile strength varied between samples with monofilament yarns having the highest residual tensile strength in all three settings, while multifilament twines had the lowest. It is also stated that trace values are displayed against the average rate of straining for the specific test, which is calculated by dividing the elongation at fracture by the entire time of straining. Because of average rate of strain is closely proportional to the straining velocity for a given parallel length of specimen, A strain velocity scale based on the mean parallel length have been introduced. In physics, the main distinction between stress and strain is that stress is the force received by an object that produces a change in the object, whereas strain in the change in is the change in the form of the item when stress is applied. Methodology. I started with cutting sample into 4 samples with each the no exposure, second exposed to UV sunlight, the third one is exposed to seawater, and fourth one is the exposed to seawater and UV sunlight. All 3 environmental conditions were tested on tensile tests, where the data will be collected and analyzed. As you can see on the result and discussion section, there are 3 graphs, and each graph were an exposure to 3 different environmental conditions. The first graph is the exposure to UV sunlight. The second graph is the exposure to seawater. And the third graph is the exposure to UV sunlight and seawater. Conclusion. As we saw in the earlier section, various environmental circumstances have a distinct degradation spectrum and progressively lose their tensile strength over time. It is established that environmental factors play a significant influence in ensuring the longevity of the fishing net. The purpose of this study is to investigate the influence of environmental conditions on fishing net tensile strength. The fishing net tensile qualities and breaking strength suffers as a result of being exposed to sunshine and ocean. It is determined that environmental conditions have an effect on the tensile characteristic and breaking strength of fishing nets.